Hey, before we get going, seeing how much smartphones have evolved over the past 20 years, why do we still use the same kind of wallets? With their biggest sale of the year for Father's Day, Ridge has reinvented the wallet and made buying gifts for dad incredibly simple. Here is the sleek, fashionable, and secure Ridge wallet and key case set. The Ridge wallet here is designed to be as thin as possible while accommodating up to 12 cards in cash, and this is a bit of an over-exaggeration, but you see my point. This is still more compact than a regular wallet, and without that annoying jingling nonsense, the Ridge key case can hold up to 6 keys. With over 50,000 5-star reviews, Ridge has more than 3 million customers who adore their products. You're also covered by a lifetime warranty and a 99-day test drive. Use my link ridge.com/Masako to get into the sale and get up to 40% off through June the 15th. That's ridge.com/Masako. Thanks to the Ridge for sponsoring this video. Android 21 was angry. This blasted green man had taken away her prize. She still had some of the old Red Ribbon infrastructure to use as a hiding place, yet having to flee this one was rather unfortunate. She was only glad that she didn't take the cell creature to her main base of operations, as this could blow up her entire plan. She had to up her game and improve the quality of the replicas. Right now she had to. And for that, she had to be sure she wouldn't be followed. As she spent some time hiding in various bunkers along the way, she noticed that some of the equipment that she thought would be there was missing. Had there been someone else who had visited these places? She knew that those Red Pharmaceuticals people consisted of some maybe ex-army members, but did they also have any plans regarding the revival of the organization that meant so much to her? Questions. She was aware that Vegeta and his merry gang of warriors were decreasing the number of her replicas at a record rate. She could see that on the scanner, but who was that other person with him? Had Son Goku shown his face? The look from one of her remote cameras had shown a different Saiyan whom she didn't recognize. He was larger and more muscular than any of those aliens she had previously known about, and he proved quite effective. Who was it? If only she could get a sample of it. As 21 and Piccolo rejoined the group, they quickly explained the situation to the rest.
Another lackey of Jiro, huh? They don't seem to stop coming.
Vegeta shook his head.
You know, it's hard for me to pinpoint, but it feels different this time.
Good boy 21 pondered this for a while.
Different how?
It feels like it's personal for her to ensure this is done.
The prince winced.
I don't know how that's relevant, 21.
Oh, and also, her name is also Android 21. She stole my name. Feels weird, not going to lie.
Vegeta shrugged.
In my family, my father and I shared the name, and we weren't the first ones to do that either. Welcome to the world of regular mortal problems, 21.
I'm just glad that you're okay, Papa. Maita was close to her dad, with Condra following in her stead.
Don't worry, kiddos. It'll take more than some crazy android lady to stop your good old dad.
Vegeta narrowed his gaze. Can you feel it? Gohan looked at the prince, nodding slowly. This feels new. Like a volcano of power.
Could it be another bio-android? We wouldn't be able to sense it if it was a regular one, right?
Krillin chimed in. Vegeta turned his head towards them.
I've no idea, but we should check it out regardless. Just in case she's activated some kind of secret weapon. Those mad scientist types tend to do things like that.
All right, Maita, Condra. You should go back to Bulma when we—
No! They said almost in unison.
What?
No! We don't want to risk something happening to you again, Papa! Condra was showing visible signs of defiance. 21 sighed, almost in defeat. He couldn't protect them forever.
All right, but keep close. And if I tell you to run, you run.
Okay, Papa. His kids nodded.
Wait, 21! There's one more thing.
Vegeta's face became stern.
And this one is familiar.
21's expression changed as he sensed the familiar presence.
Frieza.
Broly was left slightly confused. A lot of these enemies looked like this Vegeta character that Lord Frieza had shown him on the ship. But they were pretty weak as well, as he could easily destroy them with powerful attacks. Some of them seemed to be simple copies of the Space Emperor too, but the vast majority he didn't recognize. As he was going through them one by one, he heard a voice.
Hey you! Identify yourself!
It was a gruff voice, and it seemed like it was coming from the actual Vegeta instead of one of these weird cartoon things. He was less pale than those Broly had dispatched. He was accompanied by a lot of other characters that he had seen in those replicas before, only slightly different. But if this was the man whose family was responsible for his exile, banishing him to a different world, and his father, he didn't deserve to be talked to like that. Instead, his father and Lord Frieza came out fighting. Look, Vegeta, I found you a friend.
Paragus, we finally meet again, Prince Vegeta. After so many years of being banished by your father, I finally caught up with you. My son will show you the power your predecessor was so afraid of.
You chose Frieza to team up with. I think your taste in bosses is pretty bad, buddy, 21 retorted.
Broly, get them!
It was like he got activated as he charged upon the prince. While he hadn't expected such a powerful charge right away, Vegeta was able to block it with minimal effort. He dodged the next few attacks and answered them with a punch of his own, then a powerful double kick. While they felt almost even, it was quite surprising to Broly how strong his enemy was. It was even weirder when his hair started to glow gold, and suddenly the strength of the attacks increased exponentially. Paragus looked quite shocked at this display.
What is that?
Oh, Super Saiyan. Can Broly do that? Frieza seemed puzzled by Paragus's amazement.
Is he the legendary?
No, they all can do that, Paragus. 21 laughed loudly.
Oh, poor Frieza. Out of all of your schemes, this is the dumbest I've ever seen. You had to go and pick the non-Super Saiyan. It's not exactly hard to find a Super Saiyan.
But then he turned his gaze back to the fight. Vegeta was no longer smiling. Even though he was only showing a fraction of his power, he wasn't smirking or feeling confident or feeling like he could win. Something had changed. It seemed like now he was taking this fight seriously. As he launched himself into the air, he closed his eyes, allowing the divine power within him to flow outside, unleash itself. His hair changed glow to red when the brilliant aura overwhelmed him. Then, when Broly tried to attack him once more, he blocked his fist, opened his eyes, and looked at this new enemy in a calm manner. And then he punched him through a rock near the city. As Broly flew through a few mountains on the way, he seemed to end up being stuck in one of them.
I feel bad for your son, Paragus. He seems strong, but you have messed with his mind. And don't think I haven't seen that little cattle collar he has.
Vegeta glared at the older Saiyan. But before the prince could go for either Frieza or Paragus, everyone capable of sensing energy felt a sudden surge of power from the mountain, which was used to bury Broly.
Is he?
Piccolo paled.
Adapting? Yes.
21 flew toward Vegeta to be ready to help him. Very soon the mountain exploded, and Broly, who seemed to have grown a little bit in size as well, looked almost unscathed. He immediately went for the prince again, but 21 blocked him, trying to measure his power. His shock was great when the Saiyans started to push him back. Without much effort, the Bugman went straight for his bronze form and decided to redirect him away from the city. Realizing what he was doing, Vegeta followed as well, with everyone who was watching the fight following in hot pursuit, deciding also to get away from the city.
Listen, big guy, Frieza's not the kind type.
A giant fist hit 21's perfect jawline, causing him to spit out some teeth. He was glad he could regenerate them. As Broly was fighting the pair of them, they noticed a brilliant green aura flowing around him. And his punches seemed to hurt a lot, even for a Super Saiyan God and a Bronze 21. So the prince naturally turned blue to up the game. Whilst it initially seemed like they were slowly getting the upper hand again and the situation under control, the enemy seemed to grow and adapt as well, even more so. Paragus started to frantically look for the controls of the collar, but he couldn't find them. He was even more terrified when his son grew so much that he simply broke it with the size of his neck.
Vegeta, I know that you're gonna hate what I'm about to say.
Another punch hit him.
But I think we could use Goku's help.
And just like the Bugman predicted, the prince wasn't so keen in admitting it.
Fine! Fetch him in.
Can you take care of him for a moment, buddy?
Vegeta hissed through his teeth.
I'll try.
And just like that, 21 put 2 of his fingers on his forehead, trying to find Goku, locking on to Beerus's power. He vanished instantly, finding the Saiyan training with Whis.
Hey, Goku, sorry to mess with your training, but we got a problem. 2 problems, in fact. Androids and a very powerful Saiyan. Oh, and Frieza, the 3 problems.
Whis and Goku blinked twice, looking at 21, who was slightly beaten up, blood dripping from his mouth, and him still not having regenerated his teeth. Oh boy, that's a lot to take in.
I know, right? Well, you can't continue to fight like that.
Whis waved his staff, bringing 21 back to full strength.
Thanks, Whis.
And so the 2 of them popped back. Hey Vegeta, how you doing? Goku shouted at the prince.
I'm trying!
He paused when the Goliath caught his head. At this point, Broly had grown so massive, he could have almost fitted Vegeta's entire skull in his palm.
Goku, don't even think about starting slow with this one.
He gave his friend a stern look. Oh man, alright. And so the two of them, Goku in blue and 21 in bronze, joined the fray. The third powerful warrior was enough to make Broly's progress slow a little bit, as they started to slowly but surely pull the tide of the battle to their advantage once more. Frieza, on the other hand, was getting bored, and as he looked to Paragus, he remembered a certain event from Namek that turned the tide in a certain person's favor. So he started his whole pantomime about the stray Ki Blast. Broly roared. He transformed into a Super Saiyan, completely terrifying everyone around him. All the warriors were so distracted that they hadn't noticed Android 16 taking samples from the rubble that had previously been the mountain that had covered Broly. As he gave one last look to the fighters, he then went full speed towards the hideout. Were you followed? Android 21 asked.
No, Mother. The situation seems pretty dire.
So I could see through the drones, but for the sample in the machine, I'm gonna redirect all the power toward it. We gotta get this made fast.
Shouldn't we make it more stable?
We don't have time, 16. No more replica army. I am going to use the full resources of this machine for that one replica.
But we have only one more replicator left.
With that warrior, we won't need another one. He just has to kill Son Goku and the others. Then it can disintegrate, I don't care. The replicating machine started working very loudly, as 21 redirected all the energy she could muster into it. As the genetic material started connecting with the cyber replicas, it started to reassemble gross, ever-growing greenish yeast. 16 was worried. It seemed as if the machine was about to explode. The lights started to blink rapidly, as the whole process was taking energy from the entire complex. A lot of the parts and controls of the chamber were destroyed in the process. But whatever was in the machine started to display traits of a vaguely humanoid shape. And very soon, of course, the machine broke, spitting out a paler and taller replica of Broly. His eyes lacked irises and were empty and cold. She looked at a new creation. All right, you know what you have to do. Copy Broly grunted, roared, and flew through the ceiling, making a huge hole as he went. 16 was having second thoughts about this. This could quickly get out of hand. As the landscape was becoming ever more destroyed, and all four fighters got even more tired, something was quickly approaching them. A new challenger. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.